When did we see you? When did we see you? I made it through 61 and a half years of my life without having to wear glasses every day. I think I did pretty well. Not that it has anything to do with me. Those are the eyes that God gave me. And since I was about 35, I wore cheaters to read. But only in the last year have I had to wear glasses all the time. And I hate them. Maybe it's because I have an awkwardly odd-shaped and big fat head that I can't get the right size glasses to fit on my face. But I'm constantly, I hope I don't now, you'll be noticing this all the time, but I'm constantly adjusting my glasses because they're always sliding down my nose. And not only that, I have multiple lenses in my glasses such that I have to make sure I'm looking through the right side of them to see what I'm supposed to see. You know what I'm going through, some of you. Others, you'll know soon enough. Why don't we see clearly? Too often because our eyes are broken. We can't see and we need some correction. St. Teresa of Calcutta is that correction. She gives us glasses to see properly, to understand the world better, and most importantly, to be able to love the world the way Jesus loves the world, because she saw the world through his lens. She saw the world as he saw the world. When did we see you? The disciples asked that of Jesus in the gospel tonight. When did we see you? They don't realize that what they did, that their actions for the poor were done as actions for him. And that certainly doesn't make any less the actions for the poor that they had done not knowing, not seeing him in those who had been imprisoned, in those who were naked, in those who were hungry. It makes it no less. However, when we do see it, when we do understand our lives being called to that way of life, it encourages us to do it more and more and more. And I dare say that the presence of the Missionaries of Charity here in our community do the very same thing for all of us, that they encourage us to see the world differently, more and more, to be able to see Christ in those who are most marginalized. When did we see you? As I reflect on what it is about our eyes, why we don't see what we should, why we don't see with the eyes of Christ, our readings today answer that question for us. Our readings today tell us why we don't see. In our first reading from the prophet Isaiah, the prophet talks to us about fasting. That it's through fasting that our eyes are opened, that we can actually experience the world differently. And fasting can take many forms, but fasting is not a message that the world promotes. In fact, the world promotes just the opposite. The world says more, more, more. And as we do more and more and more, our senses, in particular our sight, is deadened to the truth of our world. And so Isaiah appropriately calls the people to fasting, to do without, so as to heighten our senses and better see as Christ sees. Why don't we see like Christ? In the first letter of John, our second reading tonight, we don't see like Christ because we define love incorrectly. Too often in our lives, we make love about us. And St. John rightly describes for us that no, love is about God. That we cannot hope to love unless we are sharing the very life of God. God is love, St. John tells us. And the more we reflect on that, the more we appreciate that what it is that we do in the act of love is share the life of God with others, then we realize we don't have to dole it out in small portions because we may not have enough. We don't have to worry about being loved because we've already been loved. We're already fully loved. And so we can love endlessly. And did not St. Teresa of Calcutta show us that in so many powerful ways in which she stood before world leaders to redefine what love meant, to show that nothing limits what we can do in the love of God, having first ourselves been loved. When did we see you? In our gospel today, Jesus points out to us that we've been looking for love in all the wrong places, as the song goes. I know I'm dating myself there, but some of us might be able to sing a refrain or two from that song. We've been looking for love in all the wrong places. And Jesus sharpens our vision. And with the help of St. Teresa, I would like to take 3 sayings of hers, which I will admit, do you know where I got them? I Googled it. And with all due respect to the Missionaries of Charity, if one of the quotes that I attribute to your wonderful foundress are not really her quotes, just go with me for the sake of the homily, if you will, and you can correct me later. Because I've certainly sat through homilies where people have quoted St. Francis that they found on the internet. St. Francis never said that. So you'll correct me, sisters, if I'm off base. We're looking for love in all the wrong places. Why? St. Teresa said this. She said, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. How much time do we spend judging? My brother priests will attest to this truth. We spend more time in the confessional listening to people confessing a lack of patience, which in many ways, at the heart of it, is judgment. I'm impatient because you're not living the way I judge you should. The more we spend time judging, the less time we have to love. The more I'm deciding where you're wrong, the less time I have to see you as Christ and lovable. Secondly, Mother said, we need to love without growing tired. We need to love without growing tired. Think of the things that tire us. Many of us, we started Mass at 5 o'clock. Maybe some of you are coming right from work. Maybe at this time of the day we're a little worn down. And don't we tell ourselves that we're tired, we've worked hard. And so in saying we're tired, I'm tired of going to school. I'm tired of doing my homework. I'm tired of picking up after my kids. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of helping Father Enrique because he's always calling me and asking me to do this and this and this and this. I'm tired. We tell ourselves we're tired, and once we have accepted our tiredness, we don't have to love anymore. In fact, we think we deserve to be loved more. And so Mother tells us that loving never tires. We have to realize that we can love even in our tiredness. And if you don't think that's true, you don't know love. You don't know God's love. That for many of us, our greatest acts of love can come when we are most diminished, most tired, when we are weakest. And lastly, Mother said this, do not wait for leaders. Do it alone. Person to person. I used to talk to Catholic school leaders, educators, and I used to challenge them about trying to lead their school in the way of Christ. And I used to say this, don't wait for the bishop. Don't wait for the bishop. Not sure if I want to keep saying that, but it's true. Don't wait for leaders. I'll love when this program comes out, or I'll love when my pastor says this, or I'll love more when my religious superior tells me, or I'll love more when my parents tell me, and on and on and on. We put the responsibility on leaders, and St. Teresa showed us that she became the leader. This petite woman, frail, became a leader the world looked at. Because what did she do? She didn't wait for anyone. And she didn't have some grand program. She went person to person to love. As we celebrate not just her memory, but her example this day, and as we revel in the truth of the gospel that we have heard this day, that helps us to know that we need to see a little differently. May we commit ourselves to fasting. May we redefine love differently than the world defines it. And may we look for ways to follow St. Teresa's example, person to person, to allow our world to grow, fueled by the love of God that all of us can share.